Those who have qualified so far, Apollo, are quite impressive, but we have 8 players today duking it out. 2 of them already gone, as Shine and Tasia moving on to face off one another in one of the semifinals. And now we're going to find out the other semifinal here very, very soon. Could be Genius. Is he going to be the first one to take it in 2 games, or will Maru bounce back?
Genius has to take these games. He's got 0 points on the board. So far in the qualifiers, he's actually ended every time at the round of 64 where you don't actually get any points. So unless, if he wins one of the remaining 2 tournaments, this or the next one next week, sure, he can qualify, but if he falls short of the mark, he needs to finish top 4 basically twice in a row here if he's not going to win it. Tasia, on the other hand, does have a bit of points stacked up so far. He's at like 20 points. Currently, I'm just looking at the leaderboard, is in 6th place, his Revival with 84 points. If a top 4 finish, I think, gets you 60 points. So, if Tasia moves on to the next round, he only has to get to the round of 32, round of 16 again next week, and he's qualified for TSL4 if he doesn't win it already here today.
And that's huge. That's big. It just goes to show. And, I think everyone knew this kind of going into it, and that's why we saw so much activity during the qualifiers, is that, you may not be able to win one because that's going to be really tough. But based off your performance, you can still earn yourself a spot. And that in itself is, I think, one of the cooler things about the TSL4 qualifiers. Definitely rewarding all those who go through those grueling tournaments, but also giving those who almost make it lots of times the possibility of going in. And if people will recall back to the previous TSL3, there were a couple situations, Apollo, where we actually saw the last games come down to what place certain individuals would get that would actually get them into the competition.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be close here, and Maru definitely looking to get points on the board. We are seeing now Refinery first by Maru into Barrack, so he's going to have a Reactor and Factory basically available. He could also go Tech Lab, which is a little bit more weird, but he could go Reactor after this next Marine here and open up with quite an aggressive style of play. Could branch out into an expansion after this, but with dedicating to Refinery early, he may go something along the lines of Reactor Hellion Marauders as well, which is catching a lot of Protoss players off guard. Some don't know how to deal with it. He can also build a starport relatively early as well, but with dedicating to gas first before barracks, that's, stressing the word again, dedicating to something here. He's not just fatantly doing something and then looking to expand. He wants to do pressure. He wants to get results.
Results are always good, Apollo. We are going to see Maru here open up with the Reactor Hellion. Over on the other side, the gateway is done. That Stalker's coming out. He's not going to be able to hit that SE. Actually might be able to get him. He should. But actually miscues and will not get it. So anyway, SCB gets away. Scott clean. And we do have Marine now moving away from the Zelnaga Tower. Might be able to sneak in there if the Stalker does indeed continue to chase. But it looks like he's going to come back around. So the Marine retreats backwards. And he will not have any part of that. So of these 2 players too, we were mentioning, Maru being the sort of younger player, while Genius is now the veteran. Some people have said that Genius is like trying to find his stride once again, Apollo. They said that after GSL, we saw some success. We've seen him still in GSL, but falling recently. And, a big win here, not only in the round of 8, but taking it into the semifinal, or perhaps a win overall would be huge for him in the first step in getting, back on track where people expect him to be.
And he's actually taken a good step in the right direction in this game already upon seeing the Refinery first. Look at the wall-off he's created with the Stalker here, and he has a sentry behind it too. And the thing is, though, Maru saw that. And he does have a medevac coming, so the medevac's just going to pick these Hellions up and put them right in the main base, probably in the smoke, which is something that has not been covered here by Genius. And probes still could go down. There is a sentry, though, which is going to ever be so important in landing a force field to prevent the Hellions from reaching the probes. But here it comes, man, and it could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it could. It absolutely could. It's making its way in right now. We does have a couple of Stalkers. And there's going to be the first burn. A couple do go down, but that force field actually prevents a good position of those Hellions, and 5 workers were killed. Not really a phenomenal trade-off.
Actually didn't get any. Like, he got one. That was it. Like, that multi-prong attack, the late command center has not been paid for yet. 6 still? He's getting
there you got
7.
another one.
I guess a total of 9 eventually, but still, that's not worth it, I don't think, at this stage of the game, considering how much Chrono Boost is available and how well it can be spent back into the Nexus. I think that was not a successful attack.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 9 getting away with 5 Hellions would have been pretty decent, but the fact that he lost pretty much everything at the natural and then everything inside the main. Now, we do have the Banshee follow-up to this, but I feel like with the amount of units that that Genius got out, and with now his sort of heightened sense of awareness, that he's going to be in decent shape. He does go right past this additional medevac pickup of 2 more Hellions, so he should be in position as long as he doesn't spread himself out across his 2 bases. We don't have Cloak on this Banshee, so he should be perfectly fine here.
Yeah, 4 Sentries and Stalker will stop that, but he could get in a couple of kills and easily go to the top right corner and try to hide, but, well, the drop comes in the main base at the same time too, and Moro's still not really getting the proper results, just a single probe with this. 11 probes killed, but the thing is, with a 3rd command center coming down, he can actually get back in the lead, but an observer from Genius sees that as well. He sees the tank down, and he's put down a Twilight Council immediately. He may research Blink with this, and will just go for a massive attack off 2 bases.
Yeah, I mean, based off of the damage that he has done in defending, I mean, why not, right? I mean, wouldn't you think that that's a fairly logical thing to go for?
Yeah. I mean, if this kind of hyper-aggression continues, Blink's the best thing in the world here, and picking off units, I mean, think about what Moro has to defend is just idle, static tanks. With Blink and the Observer around, he can easily blink in, harass his opponent, not necessarily kill as well. So it's like an all-purpose upgrade here, and a 3rd base is going to come down, so it's not going to be like a hyper-aggressive all-in, but with the Twilight Council down, the option is available here for Genius to use that. Moro, though, with additional barracks coming down, and is in no state to move across the map. He doesn't have any upgrades on these Marines. He's waiting on tanks, and he won't move across the map anytime soon.
Yeah, he does get a drop disrupted over here in the corner. A few units are going to get taken out here. Some reinforcements come. Will he lose the sentry? Yes. But effectively, that drop was not only shut down, but, you know, at a loss there for Maru once again. And he knows everything. I mean, he's taken out that little drop to the east. So now he knows, okay, I'm looking at 2 tanks here and the 1 bunker. Now, we haven't seen anything come out of the Twilight Council at all yet, but we're now seeing a transition to Colossus and a Forge, a double Forge actually going down right now. So you know, he can play this slow and steady game because he's already taken that advantage. I think he knows he's playing from the lead. And with some good drops, getting that 3rd established, like he should be able to solidify victory as long as he's not making any mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing Genius here go through different thought processes of how to take this game. With the Twilight Concept coming down, I think that Blink option was definitely the flavor of the minute. And now, as soon as he, assesses the situation a little bit more in depth and sees, well, I could do that. I could take a risk and lose it all, or I can just take a 3rd base and go double upgrades. That's probably the likelihood that I'll get better overall results with that style, and that's what he's gone for here. Moro scouts the 3rd base with an SCV, and now the pressure's actually on Moro. Does he move out with units as Stearman +1 is near completion to try to punish this, knowing that his opponent's unit count is incredibly low, or is he going to set up and just take his 3rd base? Either way, both of these guys, making decisions on the fly rather than sticking to an overall game plan.
Now, they definitely are making a lot of on-the-fly decisions, and this could actually turn out to be quite bad for Genius moving out here against this army, as the 3rd is getting established right now for Maru. We're going to have the factory go out for a scout here as well, and I just don't feel like Maru's in a comfortable position here. He's got that first Colossus out, but right now he's actually fighting away from his army. I mean, he's got the Observer there, so he knows that this is potentially coming. But we have not seen him react quite yet. He's going to have all that come into vision right now. And still no reaction yet. He needs to get moving.
Yeah, he's going to have to force field, I think, here. Otherwise, he's going to lose a couple of units. And he turns around, does force field, traps him off, captures some as well. But at the same time, Moro just runs straight past. Genius here does not have thermal lance quite yet. But when he does, it will be great. Look at Moro. Going to drop in the main. a massive drop as well.
I love that idea. I mean, he could do potentially a lot of damage here. There's another Colossus on its way, but it can't really go up against this, and we'll have 2 come into play. He's going to go after that Robo, and he gets it down so quickly coming in from the back. Is he going to try to get both these Colossus? He's got to be very careful with this dance because he could shoot forward and take any one of them out. He does save one of them. The Zealots make it inside, and there is the pickup here. Will he drop on the outside to try to snipe that Colossus? Looks like the answer is yes, but he's not going to be able to get him. And not as much damage as I thought Maru would have done.
Yeah, I mean, he could have opened himself up to a pretty big counterattack here, but it was a nice idea. He did some damage. He didn't do a lot of damage. The economy is still well ahead for Genius, who's able to go to 2-2. And look at the upgrades of Maru, still at 1-0. He is not continuing to upgrade. He's falling way behind the mark here. And because of the better economy that's been set up, the 5th and 6th gas for Genius has been mined 300 on each, compared to nothing for Maru, which means Storm is now available. Zealot Charge can be researched. High Templar can be warped in. And his sheer quality of army is so outclassing Maru right now. Maru has a lot of ability with these double drops coming in, a drop on the third, a drop in the main, and that's the only thing he can really do here.
Yep, he's going to go ahead and drop it to third right now while a big old group goes into the main. There's not that much there inside the main, but the drop at the third does get scared away. In the main, though, that's the scary part. We do have these medevacs almost dead, but here we go. The Archon comes out, and we have more units warping in here. Charge. Lots do make their way in. He's going to try to go after that. He's got to be careful. Oh, my gosh, so close to actually that Archon hitting those medevacs. That would have been nasty, but he, again, defends well. Could have done a lot more damage. Didn't do as much damage as he would have liked to do.
Yeah, it's pretty good here by Genius. I mean, it's nice attacks left and right from Maru, but, equally defense here coming out by Genius, who will probably look to move across the map, surely. He has a Warp Prism on the way too. It could be for Storm Drops. It could be for reinforcing the army. But with 2-2 now completing as a clear upgrade advantage, is he going to try and take it now? Or will he wait to go for 3-3? And probably the likelihood in the way that Genius has been playing this out, he has always taken the sit-back approach and be like, well, I'll just wait a little bit more. And he will. He's going for 3-3. He's not going to launch an attack with his upgrade advantage. He'll wait for 3-3 and then go again. And we are going to have a Zealot drop in the main base of Maru. There is nothing there to defend it. Genius will most likely take a 4th base while doing it as well.
Yeah, this could be pretty nasty. You could see that Warp Prism at least gearing up, getting ready. Not sprung to action quite yet. 4th base is going to get established here by Genius while this moves out. And if this army moves out, this Zealot drop here could be quite good. There are some Vikings out now. Archon's thrown in the mix as well. And there are a few Storms here. And now we've got the Warp Prism moving into position, immediately dropping down inside the main. There's an EMP by the Ghost. Nicely done. Another Warp in, though. And those Vikings looking for that Warp Prism. They are going to get it, but these SCVs just sitting there. The whole army having to move back. And what a big drop there for Genius.
Yeah, it's pulling his opponent left and right. Supply blocking in heavily here. Killing so many supply depots. And supply depots that actually were the upgraded supply depots too. But there are 3 tanks. Why? I don't know here. On the right-hand side, I'm just going to die, unfortunately. Not too sure what that's about.
And there were some tanks on the east side that actually got killed. I think misrallied, I'm not sure, in a bad position, a potential drop position. But now there are a ton of Vikings, but just the ground army has been severely stunted here. A few Zealots may go down, or may actually make it in there. Storm on top of the Vikings. Archon's moving forward. He's got to play this one quite well because those Vikings will decimate those Colossus quite easily. I mean, good Storms. We do have more Colossus out. Actually, there's a ton of High Templar. So I think the Genius just waiting for his opportunity, picking a moment where he knows he's going to be able to potentially win the game. But every moment that goes by is an opportunity for Maru to try to bring it back. He's still at 1-2, where right now 3-3 is about to pop. So that's going to be a big problem here in the late game.
And there's so many Storms available here. I don't even think there's enough Ghosts here. There's only 1. So, oh no, actually, there's a handful more at the back. 6 in total. This is, oh, catches a probe transfer. That's really good for Moro, but Genius just has superior upgrades, does not have position, uses Storm to back off into a better position. A decent EMP was landed as well here, but as long as Genius sets up a good position, he will every day win that fight.
Right, and he actually, the EMPs hit the sentries, but overall, he was sitting pretty good after those EMPs. He's still got a massive, massive storm potential here, and the Warp Prism did get taken out, so we won't be seeing any more Warp Prism harass, but he does have a few reinforcement pylons around the area. So again, it's Genius's attack to kind of choose here. Getting those probes were actually quite good. That was now 36 probes have been killed by Maru overall.
And the longer this game goes on, the better it becomes for Moro. He's trying to actually repair his Vikings. His upgrades are now increasing, so Genius actually has to do something soon, otherwise it's going to get a little bit too far out of control. High Templar gets sniped immediately. Vikings do have +1 attack, but they don't have the necessary upgrades. Big hits from the Archons too. Great Storm.
Oh.
The Vikings almost disappear.
Wow, that was actually quite good of a storm. A lot of focus there. We do have this PF up in the now X gold, but some Zealots going to run past there to really spread this army thin, which is great because now that those Zealots are on chase, it might give Genius an opportunity to attack this here. Now, it is a planetary fortress, so he's got to be careful. It is scary, but you know, just killing the SCVs alone is quite good, and the Colossus will do the job for him. Storms coming out, some nice preemptive storms, very nice. Another set too. Vikings moving into position, and what a back and forth battle so far here, but the middle still is held by Genius.
Yeah, that was really nice play from Genius, grabbing that center by distracting and pulling an opponent back, and now he has the advantage in terms of position. Ghosts, though, do not have cloaks, so they can't just run in there, and a lot of scans will have to be used. The income, though, is in favor of Genius. The upgrades, though, starting to catch up, and Moro's going to take this chance to do this.
Oh, he's going in for it big time. Zealots in a great position, but they quickly begin to thin out here. Not all of the Vikings have been killed quite yet, and they're picking off those Colossus one by one. No more storms available. A bunch of Zealots are about ready to come in here. Have they softened up this Terran force enough? Now turning around, he might be able to use those Archons to finish off the final of the Vikings, and now here come the Zealots charging forward.
There's way too many Marauders. The Zealots are going to work. They can't actually do any damage to the Zealots. They just don't do it. And Genius has so much money in the bank, he can make this army again. Storm's available now. Go down, not doing really too much damage, but there's no Medivac energy because he's consistently been building Vikings. 4 more Medivacs coming out, but if Genius goes back to Colossus production, which surprisingly only has 1 robotics facility, he really needs a second actually. But right now, Genius with such a huge bank will force attack after attack.
Oh yeah, he still has storms available. Maru smartly trying to use that PF to his advantage. But at this point, if any storms drops on these Terran units, quite a few are going to get killed. Thankfully, we do see a few medevacs coming here to try to heal up this army. He separates it out, so I guess he gets some better healing on at least one set of units. But again, the Colossus assault continues. And now we've got Immortals in the mix because there are so many Marauders out here for Maru. So Genius just playing this perfectly right now.
But there's only 1 Ghost, which is a really big thing here, considering there are 4 High Templars, there are 4 Archons, and unless the Zealots get a big EMP, they still won't die. There's only 20 Marines out there, and the Zealots are heavily upgraded with +2 shields coming down as well. The Ghost account has to increase. And that's going to be very difficult to do so with the money that Maru just doesn't have here.
Yeah.
Genius in a great, solid position. Just trying to close up this series.
I think he's going to be able to close it up. I mean, the Viking count continuing to thin out. There, another one falls down. These Archons just doing a great job. And here he is. He could be going in for it. Feedback on one of the Ghosts. Comes in from both sides. Avoids the PF, but will have to fall back a little bit. Actually, quite a bit.
Yeah, good EMPs there with the Ghost that did pop out, pushing Genius back once again, but Genius is setting up another base in the top left, so he's going to be able to continue to mine. There is no other expansions for Moro, and the longer this goes on, the harder it becomes for MaruPrime. Genius reinforcing with a bunch new High Templar, storm those Vikings, grab them with the Stalkers, do anything you need to do to bring down the count. Moro in good position though, look at that, waiting for Genius to come down there so he can get the best arc possible.
He's trying to, but now the PF under fire once again. I mean, that's a pain in itself. Almost got these Vikings down for the count, and now he's going to move forward yet again and just holding on to that platform. A real game of cat and mouse here, as you know, Maru knows he can't just like hop up there. Another Viking falls. He knows that it would be absolutely terrible, and he does get the remaining SCVs at this middle base, effectively, you know, rendering that base just pointless right now. And coming in from the back, that could be really bad for Maru. And here's another engagement. The storm does go down. EMPs on top, but actually misses quite a bit. Does hit the Zealots very good, and one Viking left over. Still can't get rid of that last Colossus. And again, we see Genius on the retreat.
Yeah, Maru's taking so many good fights here, time after time after time, but the bank is just so heavily in favor of Genius, it doesn't matter. Maru is not really mining. He has 400 minerals per minute incoming. That is just a handful of Marine Marauders every minute, where Genius has so much more. Maru again setting up to take a cost-efficient engagement. 12 High Templar being walked in. That means we'll see a pure Zealot Archon army, knowing that the ghost count is so low in energy as well.
There's a lot of storms in this back line. There are some ghosts, but I don't think they're going to be EMP. Oh, nice! Mid-fight snipes there on the High Templar, but these units are going to have to be picked up, and it won't matter. GG, MaruPrime concedes, and he is out of the game.